All right. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining in to another one of NIC's sessions. Today we have Najia Ubaid with us. She is the head of primary market approvals and the development department in the SECP. It's a very exciting session today. She's going to be sharing some of her thoughts on the main features of crowdfunding and digital assets. What are their roles in shaping economies across the globe? And then also the legal status in Pakistan as well. She will also share her thoughts on the regulatory sandbox developed by the SECP and how live testing and experimentation of the crowdfunding platform is being carried out to improve the funding process for startups across Pakistan. A little bit about Najia as well. So Ms. Najia Ubaid is, as I mentioned, the head of primary market approvals and development department in SECP. She has been associated with SECP for more than a decade now. She's a graduate of the Capital Markets program from George Washington University and is engaged in capital market development activities with the SECP. We're really excited about this session. Just a couple of house rules as well. You're more than welcome to share your questions in the chat, and right after the session ends, we will be doing a very short Q&A to address all of your questions as well. So welcome, Najia. It's a pleasure having you today on this session.
Thank you, Sania. It's good to have you have and collaborate with you people. I hope the session goes well and quite interactive.
Thank you. So I leave it to you now to start and discuss some of the things that are being addressed in this talk today.
Thank you, Sania. So let me begin, and give me a second to just share my screen. I hope you all can see and hear me clearly. Okay, thank you. So as just introduced by Sonia, this session is basically on the crowdfunding through Regulatory Sandbox and digital assets. That these two initiatives have been initiated by Securities and Exchange Commission of Pakistan. So let's move on. So for the sake of clarity, just to begin with, the session will flow like, I'll briefly touch upon what are the different ways of the capital formation, what SECP's initiatives have been and that have recently been taken in, the regulatory sandbox, crowdfunding, and what is digital asset and what can be classified as a digital asset. So first and the foremost, what are the capital ways to raise the capital, how the capital can be formed? The first and the foremost is informal avenues. Whenever you want to start a business, anyone wants to start a business, they immediately either use their own savings or approach their friends and families for investments. The second one is the banks or the financial institution. That depends how bankable your project is. The third one is the venture capital and the private equity. Another option is the stock exchanges. There is one stock exchange, that is Pakistan Stock Exchange. There are two boards on the Pakistan Stock Exchange. One is main board and the other one is Growth Enterprise Market and Alternate Board. Third one, the last one is not the last, but another option would be crowdfunding. So I'll try to cover crowdfunding here and then the digital assets avenue on which SECP has lately launched a position paper. The recent measures that SECP has initiated in order to encourage business growth, in order to encourage innovation, in order to allow the startups to become part of the regulated economy and to contribute towards the economic development. So we have proposed certain amendments in the Companies Act that relates to the startups and other additional modes of capital issuances. SECP has conducted multiple roundtable discussions for crowdfunding earlier this year and last year. Then we have started testing of the innovative solution through Sandbox. We are presently running first cohort of applications under the Sandbox guidelines. The position paper on the digital assets has also been published. All the purpose of all these measures is again to enhance business activity in Pakistan and contribute towards economic development of Pakistan. So let's move on to what Regulatory Sandbox is. So Regulatory Sandbox is a tailored regulatory environment wherein testing is conducted on a limited scale. So you can test the product live and the innovative solution. It can be any service, it can be any business model. So it will be tested in a controlled environment for a limited time period. What actually Sandbox do? It actually allows you to test whether the solution is viable, the innovative solution that you have brought, and the regulatory environment presently doesn't exist for that. So it provides you a conducive regulatory environment. It allows you to test the viability of the innovative solution. It enhances financial inclusion and provides access to finance. Why should you try, or anyone for that matter, try Regulatory Sandbox? It's efficient in terms of time and cost. There are certain areas all are aware that technology is developing and the market scenarios are continuously changing. So there are solutions for which there doesn't exist any regulatory area where you can apply. So it allows you to test your innovative ideas. While testing through the regulator, it to some extent ensures consumer protection. It helps understand the regulator how the business models actually work and what should be the effective regulatory framework for it. So SECP has introduced the first cohort of Regulatory Sandbox in February 2020 with all the motives that I've just discussed. We received multiple applications and have recently approved a number of applications. Those application model includes digital insurance, digital platform for mutual funds, robo-advisory, P2P lending, and equity crowdfunding. I believe you all are aware what crowdfunding is, but I'll share the flow or chart flow of this in a while. But before discussing the crowdfunding thing, let's just understand what are the benefits of the crowdfunding. So it's an alternate source for raising it allows brainstorming of the crowdsourcing of the brainstorming of innovative and the refined business ideas. Under the first cohort, SECP has recently allowed Pakistan National Investor Portal to conduct live streaming and experimentation of the equity crowdfunding for the period of up to 6 months. So this approval has recently been given, most probably during this month. So after this approval, Pakistan National Investor Portal can run the crowdfunding platform. They'll be intimating the Securities and Exchange Commission, and then their testing period will start for a period of up to 6 months. The results of this after the ending of the period of 6 months will determine the future of the regulations that will be envisaging crowdfunding in Pakistan. As I've just referred that what will be the flow of the crowdfunding. So in crowdfunding, the platform connects the issuers with the eligible investors. Issuers will be registered along with the eligible investors at the crowdfunding portal. The registration of the interested eligible investors will be done on the platform. Likewise, the registration of the issuer will be done on the platform. The funds that will be invested by the eligible investors will be placed in the escrow account till the transfer of securities to the respective investors. So the money will be safe. What are the main features? So anyone can raise the funds through the crowdfunding platform. It can be either private limited company or public limited company. The due diligence shall be conducted by the crowdfunding platform. Who can be the investors? All the institutional investors and eligible individual investors having net worth of at least 15 million, excluding their personal residence value, shall be allowed to be the investors. This will be governed under the private placement rules, and it can be marketed to the potential issuers. There are certain limits, again, with the perspective of investor protections. There are certain limits placed on it. The minimum investment that an individual can do is 100,000 rupees, and the maximum is 500,000 rupees. The issuers, through a letter, through certain conditions, are bound to list it on the GEM. The sponsor shall either hold the securities for a period of 3 years or till the listing on GEM, whichever is earlier. The securities shall be in DMAT form and shall be deposited with Central Depository Company. As I've referred, that the fund shall be placed in escrow account until issuance of the securities. The issuer shall be required to prepare the audited accounts in accordance with the requirements of the Companies Act 2017. They are required to share their monthly progress report on implementation and utilization of the proceeds that they'll be generating through the crowdfunding platform. So this is all about the crowdfunding, the regulatory sandbox concept, and under the regulatory sandbox, the crowdfunding application that SECP has recently approved. SECP shall also be running its second cohort after completion of the first cohort, and would also like to receive innovative solutions, again, for which regulatory, there is a requirement of regulatory intervention, or for which no regulatory framework at present exists. As I've mentioned earlier, that we have also launched a position paper on digital assets. Again, it is something that is innovative that SECP has initiated, and the digital assets position paper on digital assets is available on SECP's webpage. So let's move on. What is a digital asset? So what we generally see from the discussions on the web, on media, when we talk about digital assets, it is generally it can generally be classified as digital currencies or digital tokens or assets. So when we talk about digital currencies, it doesn't fall under the SECP's ambit, and accordingly, the position paper that that I'm about to share and about to discuss does not cover the digital or the cryptocurrencies. SECP and State Bank of Pakistan both have issued a prohibitive directive on it. State Bank has issued in April 2018, and SECP has issued the directive in August 2020. Now moving towards the digital assets. Digital assets can be classified as utility tokens and the security token. So with reference to the utility tokens, it again doesn't fall or is not being regulated as of now by any of the Securities Commission across the globe. Let me just give you an example of a utility token. So for utility tokens, it's generally being offered by a services sector. Say, for instance, a hospital chain offers issues tokens that can be bought from their platform and can be used to avail the services from that particular hospital chain. It will not be offering any kind of investment reward. Now coming to the thing that is digital asset or security token. I have used the name synonymously. So what we understand is that security token can either be backed by the real asset, or it can be cryptographic distributed ledger technology backed, that you can say backed by the blockchain technology as well. For the sake of understanding and clarity, I have just tried to make it as simple as possible. There are generally 4 layers of security tokens. The basis is that the technology, the digital asset issuance or the token issuance is backed by blockchain protocols, enforced through smart contracts, issued through specific issuance platforms, and being traded on specified exchanges. In order to just understand that it is not the only concept that, it is not the concept that Pakistan is only adopting, it's being adopted globally. So let's just see a few of the jurisdictions. We have seen in Malaysia that digital assets has been, digital assets are being registered there, both digital currency and digital token. They are regulated under their Capital Market Act through an order dated 2019. They have issued digital asset guidelines. There are some specific requirements. There are some operators' requirements and obligations. They recognize the initial exchange operators. They recognized the decentralized digital exchange operators, and they have issued specific guidelines for that. In USA, this is being treated as a security and is recognized under the Securities Act 1934. They apply Howey test on it, and Howey test says that it is an investment contract. It is defined as an investment contract in a sense that it generates profit. It is being operated by some third party so that it can be classified as a security. Hong Kong is a little less stringent on regulating this. They say that it is kind of an opt-in regulations. It is not mandatory to get themselves registered, but they have defined digital assets, both assets and the cryptocurrencies, as security. But they have placed certain requirements on the investors that makes the class of investors as accredited investors. So a certain class of investors can only invest in Hong Kong in digital assets. There are some other countries where this is being regulated, like it's in Japan, Thailand, Israel, Canada, Singapore, Abu Dhabi. It's being regulated there as well. For the sake of simplicity, just a quick through of example. There is one example of digital asset, that is DimeDex. So DimeDex is a platform that holds multiple reserves of diamonds globally. So they have reserves worldwide. What they do is, backed by those diamond reserves, they issue the securities. The security is issued in the form of tokens, and it can be settled through the cryptocurrency. It can be settled through fiat money. When I say fiat money, it's the normal rupee that is considered as a legal tender. In Pakistan, it's Pak rupee. And it can be considered, it is also settled, it can be settled also through the diamond itself as well. Another example is 22X Fund. 22X Fund is an accelerator fund. The 22X Fund actually invested in 500 Silicon Valley companies. Backed by those investments, they issued the tokens. The token investors can receive the return in form, in any form. It can be either Bitcoin, it can be cash, it can be fiat currency. So what does the position paper do? The position paper poses certain questions and why we need to enter into this, even in this space. The purpose of entering into this space is that it is an innovative solution. We are hearing a lot from the market about it. Because of the increase in interest, it is necessary that we need to understand so that it may not create any regulatory arbitrage. And again, presently, there is no framework to regulate the digital assets. So SECP intends to seek feedback on the position paper. This position paper is available on SECP's webpage. To regulate digital assets, there can be two approaches. One is to outrightly ban or restrict and allow only the products that for which the regulatory framework exists. The second one is let things happen, let them explore their way. And SECP believes in exploring and allowing innovative solutions. So the position paper is based primarily on the second approach. As I've referred, that digital assets can be either backed by real assets, the physical assets, or they can be based on the distributed ledger technology. So the question that we have actually posed to the market participants, to the stakeholders who are actually into the business of and understand technology well, that are tech savvy, that what are the assets or what are the different types of assets that can be classified in both the above categories? What can be the product dynamics, how its custody will be managed, what will be the settlement mechanisms, what are the risks involved, both from the perspective of the issuers and the investors? There can be three options. The first option for allowing the trading is that initial exchange operator performs the primary and the secondary issuance both. The initial exchange operator shall be responsible for doing the due diligence and then subsequently provide the trading, settlement, and the custodian mechanism. SECP expects to closely work with the initial exchange operator. It will be most probably licensing or registering the IEO operator. But again, it's one option of trading, and both for the primary and the secondary trading. The second option could be that IEO operator performs the primary trading, while the DEX operator, the decentralized exchange or the digital exchange, performs the trading, settlement, and custodian role. The third option would be that as of now, like the securities are being issued at the PSX, it is being issued at PSX, and all the functions are being done as is scenario that is presently being adopted for equity issuance. Again, the questions are, what would be the most efficient way for primary and secondary offerings, whether any intermediary is required, what will be the process, what will be their respective roles, how will be the settlement and the custody mechanism be rolled out, how will it be different from the existing class of securities, what are the different risks that such products inherit and such structures inherit. Looking forward to the comments from the participants, SECP would like also to hold multiple roundtable discussions, and then we'll submit a detailed way forward to the Commission, to SECP's Commission, for moving further in this aspect. All the comments and the feedbacks on this document that is available at SECP's webpage with the title Position Paper Digital Assets can be sent at feedback@secp.com.pk. So for now, this is all with regard to the regulatory sandbox, crowdfunding, and digital assets. I would like to hand it over back to the moderators. Any questions are welcome.
Thank you so much, Najia. That was really helpful. And we do have a couple of questions on our platform as well. I'll just quickly go and grab a few of them and just let you know what they are. So Samad is saying, what's the percentage approval of Sandbox application site since it was launched?
So we received around 20 applications, and we have actually approved 6 applications out of it. So you can say 1/3 of the applications, let me just, 1/4 of the applications have been approved.
Okay, all right. And then we have Huma Qureshi. She's asking, do these regulations only apply when crowdfunding investments?
So SECP has actually issued Sandbox guidelines 2019. Those regulatory sandbox guidelines are available on SECP's web page. It not only caters for the crowdfunding, it caters for any innovative solution for which presently either the regulatory framework doesn't exist or doesn't talk about, or you need certain clarification. In certain cases, we received application that can actually come under the ambit of existing regulatory framework. So we have actually guided them that you can come to SECP through the normal channel. It is for all the innovative solutions for which the regulatory framework presently doesn't exist.
Okay, thank you, Najia. Mohammed Abu Bakr is asking, are cryptocurrencies and blockchain-based products legal in Pakistan?
As I've referred to, that both State Bank and SECP has actually restricted the digital currencies, the cryptocurrencies, and the directives that have been issued by State Bank and SECP are available on their websites. Blockchain-based platforms that are not cryptocurrencies, comments are invited with regard to them through the position paper. So you are allowed to share your product ideas that are backed by blockchain technology. We'll see how we need to enter into that space. Do we need to actually make the regulatory framework, or do we not to intervene into it?
All right. Anas Raza is asking, can we set up a crowdfunding platform, for example, GoFundMe.com or Milap.org, and register it as a company in Pakistan?
any crowdfunding platform can come, but again, since I have mentioned that existingly there is no regulatory framework that regulates the crowdfunding thing. It is being done through a sandbox approach, first cohort of which we have already completed. We'll be seeking applications for the second cohort, and it will be made public. So you can actually apply for the second cohort for registering, getting approval from SECP for crowdfunding. And it is basically equity crowdfunding. The other two types, donation and reward-based crowdfunding, that are being recognized globally are not regulated by SECP.
Okay, and this leads to another question by Samad. What's the expected time frame for the second cohort launch?
So we see it quite soon. I believe hopefully in the first quarter, maximum by the second quarter of 2021.
Okay. Saad Humayun is also asking who will be invited to the roundtable discussions.
So we'll, as I've just mentioned, that we'll try to conduct multiple webinars, multiple sessions on digital assets, and try to identify the exact set of people through with which we would like to sit and have detailed discussions. Everyone is welcome. You just drop us an email and we'll be inviting you to the roundtable discussion. You are requested to share your comments, anything, any details that you would like to share with us with regard to digital assets backed by either real assets or through the blockchain technology platform. You are requested to share at feedback@secp.com.pk.
Okay. Najia, there's another comment I think we have on the Facebook Live as well. Al-Nabas Sol is asking, setting up a minimum worth of investors will be a stumbling block for millions in Pakistan. Are you a regulator of crowdfunding platform, or are you going to be regulating the crowdfunding process?
So we, as of now, the regulatory framework that, again, I'm just repeating myself, that regulates the crowdfunding. Yeah. But for the sake of clarity, we'll be regulating the crowdfunding platform, not the issuers or the investors. The due diligence part has to be done by the platform itself. With regard to the minimum investment requirements, it's again, we have certain set of regulatory framework that defines who can and how can the funds be raised. Of date, the Securities Act restricts us to allow every investor to participate. That makes it a public offering, and that there is a lengthy process for that to be followed. So that will not suit the crowdfunding thing. That's why we have to find a middle ground out of it. But yes, going forward, we'll be much the space we need to open through the amendments and afterwards.
Okay. So Najia, just to make this, I mean, not to repeat the questions as well, I'd also like you to just have a look at the questions we have currently in our question platform. So there are around 23. Some of them are being repeated, and I would like obviously the ones that you have not addressed so far to be answered first. So Rafi Ahmed here is asking, are there plans of allowing universities and colleges to manage and run their independent crowdfunding platforms for their ORIX or BIC startups?
There is no restriction on anyone to kind of restrict that they cannot start their crowdfunding platform. Anyone can start the crowdfunding platform. It has to be in a company structure, and they'll be applying in the second cohort that we'll be announcing shortly.
Okay, thank you. Kirsten Wenslaff is asking, is there a cap on the maximum amount of investors which can be targeted in a private placement?
So there is a requirement that have been placed on the PNF, where we have actually said that they can actually, what can they do? They can do a maximum of 5 fundraising activities, and the total amount to be raised through that platform cannot exceed 100 million. So that is a condition that has been placed on the crowdfunding platform, since again, it's being regulated in a controlled environment. So this condition has been placed. yes, there is a requirement of number of individual investors in the private placement, and it is actually mentioned in the private placement rules of 2017 that says that minimum number of investors, maximum number of individual investors in a particular solution cannot exceed 50.
All right, thank you. Omar has asked a couple of questions, but I'm just going to address the first one. Can an institution in Pakistan develop a private blockchain? Also, is there anything being done to promote the public-private partnerships in blockchain use?
As I've already mentioned, that blockchain, the paper on the digital asset is a position paper. It actually poses questions. So presently, there is no regulatory framework that governs the blockchain registration or technology-backed platforms. You are required to share the products that you envisage that can fall in the category of the digital assets and share the details with us. Afterwards, we'll be able to determine for what we need to enter into the regulatory framework or not.
All right. Ashir Saeed is asking, how long do we foresee Indiegogo or GoFundMe style crowdfunding platforms to be allowed by SECP?
Kind of a same question. It's 6 months testing period. After they intimate that they'll be going live, we expect that the first crowdfunding application platform will be going live most probably in this January. And hopefully by June, we'll be able to see some of the results of it. And afterwards, we'll be able to see how we'll be doing the regulation thing. We'll be preparing the guidelines, to what extent we have to enter into that space.
Okay. Nadeem actually asked a very interesting question. How do we create interest of crowdfunding in people of Pakistan? It's a very generic question, but I found it interesting.
I don't think we need to create interest. I see a lot of interest already in the market because we actually are not accepting any applications right now for the crowdfunding thing, and people are time and again coming up, how can we apply for the crowdfunding platform? So I don't think that we need to, but definitely the crowdfunding platform that SECP has recently allowed to, that is Pakistan National Investor Portal, that will be reaching out to multiple investors, and they'll be actually marketing it both to the issuers and the eligible investors as well.
All right. Najia, so one question here. I don't know if you addressed this particular question already, but I'm just going to put it out. Syed Mansoub Hassan is asking, under which license are you allowing crowdfunding? So
yes, so the crowdfunding platforms is a registered and a licensed company. It will be registered with SECP, and it is registered. Pakistan National Investor Portal, the company owning it, is registered with SECP. We are allowing the crowdfunding under the private placement rules, so that it doesn't classify as a public offering. It is under the private placement rules.
Okay, I'm just going through the remaining questions to see if there's anyone that we might have not missed. Actually, there are so many of them now.
Let me pick up one.
Repeat I'm just going through them to see if there's any that is missing out, but most of them we have addressed as well.
There's a question. There's a question that says, if a company is on sole proprietor and wants to launch its project, so what is possible way to raise the crowdfunding? What the procedure will be? Just repeat it, that any company can participate in the crowdfunding. It has to apply through the second cohort that we'll be announcing, and if approved, they can. Subsequent to that, we'll be hopefully having by the time a regulatory framework for allowing the crowdfunding platforms to register in a normal manner.
All right. So Amir Nadeem is asking how to provide a safeguard money of general public through regulations.
As you all know, that one of the main objectives of SECP is investor protection. So for the there is a balance between investor protection and innovative solutions. So considering the same, we have placed a limit of investments on the individual investors. We have placed the maximum, the limit on the projects that can be allowed to raise funds through that particular platform. We have actually created a structure of escrow account where the money shall be placed until the securities are transferred to the respective individual investors. So these all are investor protection measures that we understand and that we intend to actually protect the investors. So those are towards protecting the investors. And one thing that I like to add in, I was just reading one of the research and I came to know that there has not been any default globally or through the crowdfunding platform.
All right. Mohammed Ali, I think you win my question for the day. So Mohammed Ali is asking, what is crowdfunding? for the audience who's joined it.
that means my bad. Okay. So crowdfunding is a platform where the issuer and the investors are connected. So say for instance, I have made a platform. It'll allow, and there's a Mr. A who has an idea and who wants to initiate a project. And there is some Mr. B who has some money available with him, but he doesn't have the idea. What the crowdfunding platform does, crowdfunding platform connects A with B. So it allows, without even doing the marketing thing will be done by the crowdfunding platform, and Mr. A will be provided the requisite funds through Mr. B that he requires for initiating and developing the project. So in short, in the simplest form, the crowdfunding is the platform that actually connects multiple Mr. A's with multiple Mr. B's.
All right, thank you. That was explaining it quite nicely. Syed Sharik Abdali is asking, are there any taxation requirements for these companies?
So the tax requirements are the same that applies to any. There's no change in this. As of date, there are no special relaxations being allowed to them.
Okay. So there are more questions popping up. I'm just going to try my best to, we do want to do justice to all of you attending and make sure that this platform is the one where aapke sare sawal ke jawab aapko mile. Qasim Shamim is asking, quick question, where can I find this presentation? Is there a way for us to share this on a public platform?
Yes, we can. Let me just share it with you people. You can also post it on your website as well and on the platforms as well. I'll share the presentation with you people.
Okay, perfect. Ishtiaq Azim is asking, how is this different than equity funding?
It is a form of equity funding. There are two forms for raising equity. The one can be through public offering and the other can be through private placement. It falls under the definition of private placement where the general public is not tapped. When you want to do the public offering, you have to get yourself listed on Pakistan Stock Exchange. In this particular scenario, you won't be listing the investor, that will be the issuer that will be raising the funds through the investors, won't be listing on the Pakistan Stock Exchange, on the main board of it.
Okay, thank you, Najia. I know you're on a roll. We're asking you so many questions and you're answering them as well. Imtiaz Khalid is asking, there is a law in Pakistan named Private Money Lending Act 2019, which prohibits lending money to profit. Will crowdfunding have exceptions to this law?
I'm not equipped what is in this law. Let me just have a look on this and then I'll be able to respond to that.
All right, thank you. We do have 10 more minutes, I think, before the session closes. So let's just try to pick out the best 10 ones and see which questions we can answer and which ones we have already gone through as well. Najia, I would just need a little bit of your help as well in just picking out the best questions, because since you have more of the domain knowledge, you'd
Let
be able to.
Let me just pick one. It says Omar Khan here and says, prospectively with reference to crowdfunding, what are the investment vehicles available, startups or SMEs? Through the crowdfunding platform, a company that can raise the money has to be either a public company or a private company. So thing to get yourself registered as a private limited company. SECP claims that you can have your company registered within few hours. So you just need to have that company registered, be it a startup or SME. They can raise the funds through the crowdfunding platforms.
Another very basic question, but I think a very valid one. Huma Qureshi is asking, are blockchain-based electronically signed contracts honored by the legal system in Pakistan?
These are the questions that for which we are looking the answers as well. So technically speaking, there is presently, to my knowledge, I don't have any in this context, but these are the questions that we are looking to the solutions as well.
All right. This is more of a comment than a question. Syed Mansoub Hassan is saying, I think SSCP should upload this presentation and a guide for people interested in crowdfunding on their own portal.
Yes, we'll upload the presentation, but the regulatory sandbox guidelines that envisage who can actually participate in the sandbox structure is already on the website of SECP. The position paper on the digital assets is also on the website of SECP. We'll also upload the presentation as well.
All right. Qudsiya Rizvi is asking, are foreign investors allowed to participate in crowdfunding for a project in Pakistan?
If there are no restrictions of bringing the money in as regulated by State Bank of Pakistan, so yes, they can.
All right. Yes, sir. So Arsalan Vardak, he has a comment and then a question. So he's saying eligible investors limit of PKR 15 million net worth, excluding their personal house, means that ordinary Pakistanis are excluded from these investment opportunities. Do you have a study providing information on how many individuals are eligible in Pakistan?
So since we do not have the database of all the individuals in Pakistan, that how much net worth do they own, we can't give you the numbers, how many individuals fall in this particular category. But definitely the CFP, the crowdfunding platform, that will be reaching out the investors shall ensure that the restriction on the eligible investors is actually enforced.
Okay. There are a lot of other questions on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, but I think we've already addressed those, so we don't need to go into those. Ashir Said is asking, we see quite a few failed projects on international crowdfunding platforms. How does SECP plan on tackling such a scenario where a startup is unable to convert the funding into a profitable entity?
So that's why we have actually placed the limits on the investments. We have actually ensured that the money goes into the escrow account and it is used only for that particular project for which it is being invested by the investors. We have actually required the sponsors to ensure that they shall retain their entire shareholding for a period of at least 3 years or till the date of listing of the project on GEM, that is Growth Enterprise Market, so that they can also get an exit opportunity out of that. And above all, that's why is being done under a controlled environment through the regulatory sandbox. And it is a company structure, so all the exit opportunities otherwise available for the investors of a company are also available to the company that is operating the crowdfunding platform and the companies that intend to raise the funds through this platform.
Okay. I think we've pretty much addressed the remaining questions. There are just a few comments, but other than that, we have been able to address everyone's question and concern as well. Are there any parting notes, anything else that Najia, that you would like to add based on the Q&A session that we just had?
Yes, I would like to just, because there are multiple questions on the cryptocurrency and the digital currency thing, just want to re-emphasize that it is not, it doesn't fall under the ambit of SECP. It's being regulated by State Bank, that is the Central Bank of Pakistan. As long as they don't allow it, or they don't raise the restriction placed through the directives, it won't be able to consider it as a legal investment in Pakistan. With regard to the crowdfunding thing, I would encourage all the participants to keep an eye on SECP's webpage, and we'll try to make it public whenever we launch the second cohort, and would also like comments from the public on the digital assets position paper. And when I say the comments, I would encourage if a detailed structure is shared with us in either of the two categories of the digital assets, either backed by real estate as real assets, or backed by or based on the digital technology platform. So we would like to actually see what the public thinks and what you people understand as a digital asset, and what do you think will qualify as a digital asset, and how the product will actually be structured. So I am kind of repeating my things, but I would like to have a detailed feedback on this at feedback@secp.gov.pk.
Thank you so much, Najia. Thank you for taking out your time and conducting this session with us and helping our audiences understand this domain and address all the questions and concerns as well. We're going to be obviously following up with more sessions like these so that we can address more concerns, and obviously do follow up and visit the website and stay updated yourselves as well. Najia, it was a pleasure hosting you today on NIC's platform, and we do hope that we get to invite you once again for other sessions like these. And thank you to everyone in the audience who logged in and took out their time for this. I hope all of your questions were addressed. And please also reach out to Najia herself for providing any feedback.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Sania. Thank you, your team at NIC. It was a pleasure sitting with you and having this session. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Take care. Khudafis, everyone. Have a great day.
Love us.